Grand Speaker Morlux had vanished. One moment he stood before a crowd stammering after his lies were exposed. The next he was gone. No witnesses, no escape ships, just an empty stage and a single line projected above. You burned the truth. We kept the ashes. Panic spread like fire across the galactic empire. Leaders held emergency meetings. They called for protection, arrests, purges. But no one could stop what was coming. Because Earth wasn't fighting a war. They were delivering judgment. The Galactic News Network tried again to calm the people. Fake, they said. Old propaganda. But then came the leak from inside the Empire's own archive. Footage of what Operation Peaceflame had really done. Whole human colonies reduced to rubble. Medical experiments on survivors. Crying children placed in dark labs, never seen again. It was no longer a rumor. It was fact. The Empire had lied to its citizens, and now the citizens knew it. Riots broke out on 4 central planets. Statues of old war heroes were pulled down. Protesters marched, holding signs that read, "We want the truth. Earth was right. No PC without justice." The Empire sent troops to silence them. That's when the lights went out. Across the core worlds, power grids failed. Communications dropped. Billions sat in darkness. Then a message appeared on every screen in every language. Your silence protected monsters. Now feel ours. In orbit around Virex 9, a defense satellite exploded without warning. It wasn't attacked. It simply turned itself off and self-destructed. Then another. Then 10 more. Someone had remote access. Only one group had ever touched the code of those satellites. Earth's engineers. 30 years ago. And they hadn't forgotten. Deep in the Empire's capital, High Admiral Tyrus stormed into the control room, his voice filled with rage. "Where are the human fleets?" he shouted. A nervous technician answered, "We don't see any, sir. No fleets. No signals." Tyrus clenched his fist. "Then where is the attack coming from?" Carell stood in the shadows. "It's not an attack," he said. "It's a message." Tyrus turned to him furious. "They are tearing the Empire apart." Carell nodded. "Yes, and they never fired a single weapon." On the mining world of Trassel 3, a small rebel group received an unexpected visitor. A small drone. Sleek, silent. It hovered above them, then opened a compartment. Inside, data drives, records, evidence, locations. It showed them what the Empire did to Earth, and what Earth had now done in return. The rebel leader, a woman named Ressa, stared at the drone. "Why give this to us?" she asked. The drone's voice was calm, female, human. "Because you listened." Meanwhile, on a hidden command vessel deep beyond known space, the human council watched the chaos unfold. One of them spoke. "They are unraveling themselves." Another replied, "They built their rule on lies. We are only holding up a mirror." The first voice asked, "Should we strike now? We could bring the whole system down." The answer was cold. "No, we don't need to burn their empire. Truth will do it for us." Back on the Empire's core world, the Emperor met privately with Carell. His voice was hoarse, old. "I gave the order back then," he confessed. Carell nodded slowly. "I know. I thought I was saving the galaxy." Carell's eyes were hard. "You were saving your rule, not lives." The Emperor turned to look out the window, where fires burned across his capital city. "Do they come for me now?" he asked. Carell didn't answer. Because that night, the sky above the palace lit up. A single light in orbit. Not a weapon. Not a fleet. A projection. The face of a young human woman, crying, the same footage seen before. Fire behind her, screaming for her mother. Then the words, "You called it peace. We remember the flame." The Empire was bleeding. Ships destroyed. Bases lost. And now the fear was spreading like a shadow in the night. They whispered about a new threat. Not ships, not soldiers, but ghosts. Deep behind enemy lines, silent figures moved. They wore black suits made of adaptive camouflage. They carried weapons that fired silent pulses of energy. They were not just soldiers. They were Earth's elite strike teams, called Phantom Units. Their mission, to hunt the Empire's commanders and leaders, to end this war quickly and quietly. Captain Hannah Wells led one of these units. Her eyes were cold, but focused. She checked her weapons and nodded to her team. "We move in 30 seconds, she whispered. Her voice was calm, but inside she burned with the memory of Kepler 92b. The target was a high-ranking Empire officer known as Commander Ralcor. He was responsible for many attacks on human colonies. Tonight, he was in a fortified command post on the moon Sarkin IV. Hannah's team slipped through the shadows. No alarms, no patrols, just silence. They reached the command post's entrance. Using hacking tools, Hannah bypassed the security. The door hissed open. Inside, the base was quiet. Too quiet. Ralcor sat alone, drinking synthetic wine. He did not hear the footsteps. He did not see the shadows. Suddenly, Hannah's voice broke the silence. "Commander Ralcor, you're under arrest, or you can choose to end this." Ralcor laughed. "You think humans have mercy?" He pulled a hidden gun. But Hannah was faster. Her team struck. Energy pulses hit the commander's gun, disabling it. Ralcor's face changed from confident to shocked. He tried to fight back, but it was useless. Within minutes, the mission was over. Ralcor was captured. No one saw the Phantom Units leave. No one heard the shots. Only one thing was left: a black card on the commander's chair. With a single word, "Remember." Back at Earth Command, Hannah reported in. Mission complete. No casualties. Commander captured alive. General Ayla Trent smiled. Good. Now the message will spread. The Galactic Empire was confused. How could Earth find them anywhere? How could they strike without warning? They began to fear the shadows. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council, debates raged. Some said, "We should make peace with Earth." Others shouted, "We must destroy them before it's too late." But the war was already changing. The Empire was no longer sure who they fought. On Earth, the people cheered. For the first time in decades, they felt hope. Hope that the galaxy could remember Earth was strong and dangerous. The Galactic Empire was desperate. They had lost ships, commanders, and pride. And now their leaders planned a final strike. A secret weapon hidden deep inside the Varn system. The weapon was called Project Oblivion. No one outside the Empire's inner circle knew exactly what it was. But rumors said it could destroy entire planets. Earth had to stop it, before it was too late. General Ayla Trent stared at the hologram. "Project Oblivion is ready to fire," the intelligence officers said. Ayla's jaw tightened. "We can't let that happen." The Black Fleet moved quickly. Silent ships slipped past Empire defenses. They headed straight for the secret base where Project Oblivion was kept. Captain Hannah Wells prepared her Phantom unit again. "This mission is different," she said. "We go in fast, take out the weapon, and get out." Her team nodded. No one said a word. On Varn Prime, the Empire was ready. Guards patrolled every corner. Machines hummed. The weapon was almost ready. Hannah's team landed near the base's surface. Cloaked by shadows, they moved fast. Inside the base, alarms suddenly blared. The Empire knew they were coming. Gunfire echoed. Hannah's team fought hard. Energy blasts filled the halls. They pushed forward faster and faster. Finally, they reached the weapon's core. It was massive, glowing with power. Hannah placed explosives on the core. She looked back at her team. "Get ready to leave," she ordered. Seconds later, the base shook. Explosions ripped through the halls. The weapon was destroyed. Outside, the Black Fleet fought Empire ships blocking their way. The battle was fierce. But Earth's ships were faster and smarter. They destroyed the enemy and escaped. Back on Earth, news spread fast. The Empire's secret weapon was gone. The galaxy watched in shock. Earth was no longer the weak planet they thought. In the Galactic Council, voices grew louder. "Earth has power now," said one delegate. "We must rethink everything." But Earth was not done yet. Their message was clear. They would fight for their place in the galaxy. The Galactic Empire was breaking. No fleet, no battle, but its foundation was crumbling. Planets once loyal were now questioning everything. Trusted leaders were exposed as liars. Fear and anger filled the streets. Grand Speaker Morlock's disappearance was just the beginning. On the distant planet of Veritas, Senator Halreck prepared for an emergency speech. His datapad buzzed with news from every corner. Riots, protests, soldiers refusing orders. He looked up and whispered, "How did Earth become so powerful without a fight?" A junior aide answered nervously, "They didn't fight. They used truth." Halreck frowned. "Truth?" he said. "Words don't win wars." But now he knew he was wrong. Back on Earth, a secret operation called Echo Whisper was underway. Human agents moved through the galaxy's underworld, delivering more evidence. Hidden files, secret recordings, proof of the Empire's darkest acts. Every corner of the galaxy began to see the truth. On the planet Kryden, a former Imperial general sat alone in his quarters. His name was Raxos, once a feared war leader, now just a shadow. His comm device beeped. A message from Earth. It showed him his past crimes, every decision, every massacre. For the first time, Raxos felt fear. The message ended with a warning. You cannot hide from your past. At the Galactic Senate, chaos reigned. Some senators demanded peace talks with Earth. Others called for a final strike. But the Emperor's grip was slipping. Carell advised, "The people want truth, not war." The Emperor replied, "If they get the truth, my empire dies." In orbit around the capital, Earth's satellites broadcasted one final message. A montage of Earth's history. Wars fought, lives lost, sacrifices made. Then the moment that started it all, the burning of Earth's colonies by the Empire's ships. The message ended with a simple line. "We only wanted peace. You gave us fire." As the message spread, more and more ships turned off their weapons. Leaders who once cheered the Empire now questioned their orders. In the silence, a new power was rising, not from ships or weapons, but from truth and memory. Back on Earth, the Human Council watched the galaxy's unraveling. One voice said softly, "They thought they could break us, but the fire inside only grows stronger." The others nodded. Now the galaxy will choose. The Emperor sat alone in his grand hall. His crown felt heavier than ever. Around him, the walls echoed with silence. No cheers, no orders, just emptiness. The Empire was breaking apart. No fleet could save it now. No army could silence the truth. Outside, the capital city burned not from bombs, but from anger. Citizens filled the streets, shouting for justice. They held signs demanding peace, truth, and change. The old order was dying. Carell stood beside the Emperor, calm but firm. "Your empire is finished," he said. "But there is still a way." The Emperor looked at him. "What way?" "Truth," Carell replied. "Face it. Admit your sins. Let Earth be heard." The Emperor laughed bitterly. "You asked me to surrender?" "No," Carell said. "You must choose. Collapse with lies, or rebuild with truth." Far from the chaos, Earth's leaders prepared their next move. They sent envoys to the galaxy's broken worlds. Not with weapons, but with hope. They offered aid to rebuild. They promised peace. but only if the Empire admitted its crimes. On the distant world of Varnus, a young soldier named Jalin listened to Earth's envoy. He had once fought for the Empire without question. Now he questioned everything. Could peace really come from the people they called enemies? In the Imperial Senate, voices rose and fell like a storm. Some senators wanted revenge. Others wanted peace. The Emperor's throne grew more unstable every hour. Suddenly, the communication screens flickered. A human face appeared. It was the young girl from before, now older, stronger. Her eyes burned with quiet fire. "We seek not your destruction," she said. "We seek justice." The room went silent. The Emperor's grip finally slipped. He stood, voice weak. "Let the council meet. Let the galaxy decide." Karel nodded, a small smile on his lips. Finally, the truth will be heard. The year was 2893. For over 70 years, no one had heard a single word from Earth. It was once a strong and proud planet in the Galactic Empire, but then, nothing. No trade, no contact, no signals. The Empire believed Earth had finally broken down, forgotten. But they were wrong. Inside the deep void between stars, a single message traveled across empty space. It was short, only 6 words. "They came. We mourned. Now watch." The message hit a listening station near the planet Valar. A young alien technician named Jellic saw the alert on his screen. He called his superior immediately. "Sir, we just received a human signal," Jellic said. His commander, General Vostar, frowned. "Impossible. Earth is silent." "It's real," Jellic replied. "It came from the Sol system." The Empire Command dismissed the message. "Probably old radio waste," they said. "Ignore it." But not everyone ignored it. Far from the core worlds, a research vessel named Glintfire floated near the edge of Empire space. On board was Karel, a curious alien officer known for chasing lost knowledge. He wasn't like the others. He believed history held answers. When Karel heard about the signal, something inside him turned cold. "Earth doesn't send messages," he whispered. "Not unless it wants us to listen." He requested access to old Empire records, documents sealed and hidden since Earth joined the Empire. The files were restricted, but Karel was good at finding secrets. What he found changed everything. 70 years ago, Earth didn't join the Empire peacefully. They were forced in. The Empire had launched a sudden orbital attack, destroying cities, satellites, and entire spaceports. Earth had no warning. The Empire called it Operation Peaceflame. They said it would bring Earth into the galactic system. They said humans were too aggressive to be trusted. But after the strike, Earth didn't fight back. It simply went quiet. Now, after decades of silence, humans had sent a message, and Karel believed it was no accident. He filed for a special scout mission, a small trip to the Sol system to study lost relics. The Empire gave him permission but warned, "Earth is dead. There's nothing left." He didn't believe that. Karel took a stealth ship called Shadowstep and entered the Sol system through a hidden wormhole. As he came closer to Earth, he saw something strange. Satellites still orbited the planet. They were active, and one of them turned to face him. "This shouldn't be possible," Karel muttered. His ship's systems suddenly froze. A blue light from the satellite scanned the ship, then released it. A voice came through his radio. It was in English. "Still watching?" Karel's heart raced. That voice wasn't robotic. It was human and alive. He turned his ship toward the dark side of Earth's moon. There, hidden in shadow, he saw something that didn't exist on any Empire map. A space station. Huge. Quiet. Cold. He flew closer. No lights. No signs of life. But his scanners picked up power and movement. Inside the station, something was awake. Karel docked. Slowly, carefully, he entered the airlock. The metal doors creaked open. The inside was clean, untouched by time. He moved deeper. On the walls, he saw human writing. Watchers will be watched. He passed a large room, a war table, a hologram of the galaxy. Red lights blinked across the star map. Empire strongholds. And then one of the dots turned black. His radio cracked again. This is not a warning. This is the answer. Suddenly, the lights in the station turned on. A long corridor opened in front of him. Footsteps echoed, but he saw no one. Carell ran back to his ship. As he prepared to launch, he saw it. One of Earth's old war drones floating outside. Sleek, silent, and deadly, but not attacking. It scanned his ship, then drifted away. Carell left the system fast. As he returned to Empire space, he brought the recording to command. The Empire's top leaders watched it in silence. And then, for the first time in decades, they saw what they had tried to forget. Earth was not dead. It was waiting. At that moment, across space, something darker moved. On a quiet asteroid beyond Neptune, giant engines began to glow. A hidden ship 3 times larger than any known war cruiser came to life. Inside, an artificial voice spoke its first words in 70 years. Directive unlocked. Begin operation. Final silence. The Galactic Council chamber was packed. Leaders from every star system waited in silence. For the first time in centuries, the fate of the galaxy rested not on weapons or war, but on words. The Emperor, once mighty, now sat humbled. His empire broken by truth, not fire. Earth's envoy stood tall. The young woman who had appeared before was now the voice of humanity. Her voice was steady, clear, strong. We did not seek war, she said. We sought peace, justice, and a chance to heal. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. One senator, voice trembling, asked, if the Empire caused so much pain, why offer peace now? The envoy smiled softly. Because we believe the galaxy can change. We believe in forgiveness, but only if the truth is told. Across the galaxy, planets held their breath. Could the Empire truly change? Could old wounds heal? No one knew. The Emperor stood, his voice quiet but sincere. I was wrong. I caused pain. I lied. For that, I am sorry. A silence followed, heavy and deep. Then a new leader rose. From the ashes of the old empire, a council would be formed, fair, just, and open. Earth would have a seat, not as a conqueror, but as a partner. Outside the chamber, the skies cleared. Stars shone brighter. The galaxy, scared but hopeful, looked to the future. In a quiet room on Earth, the human council watched the broadcast. One said softly, "We fought with truth." Another nodded, and that was enough. Kepler 92b was burning, or what was left of it. The planet's cities, once full of trade and culture, were now piles of ash and twisted steel. Giant black craters scared the surface. The Empire called it a warning shot, a message to Earth. But Earth didn't send a reply, not with words. They sent silence, they sent darkness, they sent shadows. Now the Empire wanted to rebuild. Clear the wreckage, said General Croven, walking through the ruins with his boots crunching over bones. The Empire had returned to Kepler with builders, soldiers, and machines. They wanted to show the galaxy that nothing could stop them, not even Earth's quiet anger. Croven looked around at the burning winds and shattered buildings. We will rebuild in 30 days, he ordered, and we will rename this place. He looked up at the sky. No longer Kepler. This is now New Varn, in honor of our leader. But above him, something moved. The workers didn't see it. The guards didn't hear it. The skies looked empty. No ships, no lights. But Earth was there, watching, waiting. In a dark satellite hidden in Kepler's orbit, Captain Hannah Wells stared at the screen. All targets confirmed, her tech officer said. They're setting up energy shields and weapon turrets. Hannah nodded. Do not engage yet. We wait for full deployment. Then, We cut them off. She narrowed her eyes. This isn't just revenge. It's a message. Meanwhile, on the ground, strange things began to happen. A heavy mining drill stopped working. Its power drained completely, though fuel tanks were full. A scout drone lost connection. Its last image, a black shape in the clouds. A supply truck vanished between checkpoints. No crash, no signal. Just gone. Probably rebels, the guards said. But rebels don't leave behind burned symbols in the dirt, symbols in the shape of Earth's old war seal, a broken sword over a burning star. Then, on the fifth night, the Empire's new base went dark. All systems offline. No alarms, just silence. And in that silence came the footsteps. Heavy, calm, slow. The guards raised their weapons, but saw nothing. A red light flashed on the corner tower. Then suddenly, all cameras showed the same message. A voice played from every screen. You killed our people. You laughed. Now, we don't ask for justice. We bring balance. Explosions rocked the base. Not loud ones, not fireballs. Precise. Clean. Each one targeted command rooms, ammo bunkers, and key power nodes. No wasted shots. No warning. Within seconds, Empire soldiers were running, shouting, trying to fight back. But the attackers were shadows. No one saw a full face, just shapes in black armor. Movements too fast for cameras. Weapons that didn't fire lasers, but something quieter, deadlier. General Croven shouted, "Call the fleet. Call backup." But there was no signal. His communication tower was gone. He turned and saw one figure walking through the smoke. A tall woman in black armor. No emblem. No words. Just a stare. He raised his pistol. She didn't move. Then 3 red dots appeared on his chest. His last words were a whisper. Humans. An hour later, the base was silent. No Empire soldiers. No lights. No movement. The Earth strike team had vanished again. The only thing left behind was a metal plate, standing in the middle of the ruins. It had just 4 words carved into it. We remember Kepler 92b. In the Galactic Council, panic grew louder. The Teleri ambassador slammed a report onto the table. They didn't just strike. They erased the Empire's presence in under 1 hour. The Zern leader nodded. They do not speak. They do not warn. Earth is no longer asking. The Gorth Chancellor, a war-hardened lizard species, looked straight into the camera during a news broadcast. The Empire has poked a sleeping god. Now it wakes. On Earth, deep under the Arctic ice in a facility known only as Project Revenant, new orders were issued. Operation Phantom Storm is active, said General Ayla Trent. All ghost teams prepare. This is not the end. It's only the beginning. She looked at the hologram of the galaxy map, glowing red with Empire territory. Now they learn what it means to wake the old wrath of Earth.